What do you think makes life in Europe good? And how could it be better? Is it related to the international climate, education, the economy, public services, or access to nature? For decades, we've measured success using GDP. But more and more people, from scientists to policymakers, are saying we need something more. Joining us today is Tuuli Hirvilammi, project lead in the EU-funded MERGE project, which aims to redefine how Europe measures progress, moving beyond GDP towards sustainable and inclusive well-being.
It's only one indicator, but it matters because what we measure shapes what we do in general terms. And when governments tend to follow the GDP and prioritize GDP, they also prioritize the short-term input instead of long-term goals like sustainable and inclusive well-being. It means safeguarding well-being for all now and in the future. That's sustainable and inclusive well-being. And the very important starting point in it is that we acknowledge the human nature, that we are part of nature, we are dependent on ecosystems, and therefore it's crucial to respect planetary boundaries. And since now we consume and produce so much that we overshoot those planetary boundaries, we can say that at the global level, well-being is not sustainable. And therefore limiting the consumption and production is a very important precondition for future and current well-being as well. But then for well-being to be inclusive, it refers to justice within current generation, kind of intra-generational justice, but it also refers to justice between current and future generations, so intergenerational justice. It refers to a broader set of indicators beyond GDP, expanding the set of indicators with different domains. And in MERGE, we follow the definition of sustainable and inclusive well-being. So the metrics also should cover these three dimensions: sustainability, well-being, and inclusion. So we have worked in MERGE to produce a kind of short list of prioritized domains or topics that should be measured when we want to follow sustainable and inclusive well-being. And in one recently published article, researchers suggest 20 domains that could be covered when following sustainable inclusive well-being. And they also argue that 20 is actually enough and we don't need more. And those 20 indicators that they suggest, or domains, refer to indicators related to protected natural areas, water sanitation, air pollution, and greenhouse gas emissions. They also refer to indicators related to income and gender poverty, for example, and then employment, education, and housing condition at the well-being level. And for well-being to be inclusive, it's also important to track civic and social participation and also the governance integrity. In MERGE, we conducted a stakeholder survey where we asked the respondents their opinion on how Beyond GDP agenda could gain traction. And they identified different very strong drivers or potential drivers. And these include, for example, scientific support, which is already existing. And then also they identified public support as a potential driver. And they also referred to global momentum. And then we also found actually in MERGE that there is already a strong public support for Beyond GDP metrics. We conducted a larger scale survey in 6 European countries covering 6,000 residents in Europe. And we found that 81% of them are in favor of Beyond GDP metrics and wish them to be more used in national policy making. And then we also found, which is very inspiring, we found that 85% of the respondents favor or would like to prioritize the well-being of future generations as much or even more than their own well-being. So it's possible that the general public understand that ultimately we all would benefit if we measure what matters.